Let's take a look quickly at the LA Dodgers before we end up giving our kind of overall postseason or World Series, predictions. Shohei Ohtani, the whole narrative about him he can't hit for shit at the leadoff spot and can't hit when people aren't on base. Haven't been hearing too much about that recently because he's got a 286 batting average now in the playoffs and an OPS of 934. So he's alive and well and doing what Shohei Ohtani does.
But not a single stolen base.
That's the thing. I will be honest, I would like to see a little bit of that because that is part of his game, but at the end of the day, not going to complain when you got, 10 RBIs and all the other stuff that you're doing. So, still killing it right now. And, of course, Mookie Betts needs to get a shout-out for what he's done, like really picking up the slack. There was that whole narrative, that other narrative where walking into this playoffs, it was like, dating back to last year, Mookie Betts is like, I forget what it was, 0 for 17 or something like that in the playoffs. That ain't the case anymore, guys. He is batting .295. He's got an OPS well over 1. Similarly to him, Max Muncy showing up when needed. One of the more underrated Dodger players, I'd say. Really does get forgotten about, but at any given moment, Max Muncy can just immediately pop off and be like the best hitter on any team. He is doing that right now. He's got an OPS over 1. I would agree with you, when you talked about it earlier, just pound for pound, lineup for lineup. Probably the LA Dodgers have a little bit of an edge right now walking into this World Series over the New York Yankees.
Yeah, they've scored way more runs than the New York Yankees in the postseason, and arguably, actually not arguably, they had a lot of tough pitchers. I mean, Mets were a little bit softer, I would say, pitching wise than the San Diego Padres. Yankees, though, have had a bit more tough pitching with the Cleveland Guardians and the Royals. I think their pitching staffs are pretty damn good, and they did get through it. So that could be a factor, too. But I think, pound for pound, you're going to have the Dodgers with the advantage. And for me, in this series, you haven't even seen Freddie Freeman. This guy has a bum sprained ankle this entire time, and you have not seen him. Teoscar Hernandez went virtually absent, in this league championship series. So, when you have those kind of star MVP type players, Silver Slugger type players go absent, and you have guys pick it up out of nowhere, like Tommy Edman. We've seen in the years past where Chris Taylor picked it up for them. You need those guys to come pick it up. And Will Smith, where's this guy? And he's been on a really, really dark stretch for a very long time, actually, even dating back into the regular season. If they could just have any of those guys turn around in addition to all these other lower guys in the lineup turning it on, then they're scary. And they're doing it, too, with that bullpen. Yeah. And I keep coming back to the fact that we were counting them out because of their bullpen, and they locked it down in Game 6 with a bullpen day.
Yeah,
and that's their bread. That's probably their best starting pitcher, quote unquote. They could roll out there.
For me, it does that's their X factor, man. Not even mentioning the fact that they have the most home runs in the postseason, 20 compared to the New York Yankees, 13. So they are hitting a lot more bombs. But I do think that the X factor is the bullpen there, guys. Blake Trinan, all of those guys in that bullpen, hats off to them for doing it time and time again. I'm trying to find the reliever ERA here by by team. So actually, the Yankees are really, really good.
Yankees have been very good.
Yeah, relievers.
Been awesome.
Now, granted. So here's the thing. From a reliever standpoint, the Dodgers have a higher ERA than the New York Yankees, just the relievers, but they've also pitched about 20 more innings than the Yankees. They've just been eating up innings, and it has been filling in those gaps when you look at their pitchers, because the one area of concern for me, and I am still concerned about this, is those starters for the Dodgers. The way that you're going to win this series, if you're the New York Yankees, it just sounds so easy when I say it like this, is you got to get to them early. Seriously, because you look at Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Flaherty and Buehler, and the guys are going to be starting the games here for them. None of them are really popping off in the postseason so far.
Well, the thing was, in the entire NLCS, the 2 games the Mets won, they got to them early.
Yeah.
And it's funny enough, in Game 6, that was the first lead change the entire series. So whoever won that series was just, we got to that starting pitcher early, and it's going to be the same thing here because, Flaherty's ERA 7.04 this postseason. Yoshinobu Yamamoto 5.11, Buehler 6. What's funny is Trinan, in 6 games, has pitched 8 innings, And then in 2 games, Walker Buehler has pitched 9. So
Yeah.
Trinan's basically a starting pitcher at this point in terms of the workload.
That's the thing. Like, he's making up, and so many of those other guys are. Like, there's a lot of bullpen guys that still have a 0 in the ERA column for these LA Dodgers. Like,
Evan Phillips.
You know, I think it's just wild, like, that you have the option, if you are the LA Dodgers, to put out Flaherty there for 4 innings and then rock with your bullpen after that. And that's just an advantage that you have, I think, over anyone right now. Yes, the New York Yankees bullpen is very good. I don't want to take anything away from that. But the way that these guys are playing and picking up the slack, like, it is truly impressive. And I really do believe that if you don't get to Yamamoto or Flaherty or Buehler or the starter, if you don't attack the LA Dodgers the first time through the lineup, you're going to have a really hard time getting to them later in the ball game.
Absolutely, because they're going to attack you, right? And looking at the New York Yankees, you have Garrett Cole, who actually got roughed up in the recent outing, I believe, and he's had a lot of walks. Like the breakdown here, I'm reading this SN article, is like Garrett Cole has looked just not like Garrett Cole. The numbers haven't been too bad. They've been very good, actually.
Still, yeah.
331 ERA, but the whip is up to 1.53. So I'm curious to see what an LA Dodger lineup will do when they get to Cole, whereas like, the Guardians really didn't have too much depth. Like, a fully deep Dodgers lineup might be able to get to Cole in probably game 1 is when he's going to be rolled out.
That's like the only thing that we think we know is that Garrett Cole will be starting game 1 for the Yankees. It's tough to predict after that, though.
Yeah, and then you got Carlos Rodon, who's either great or like the worst pitcher ever.
Sure.
In this postseason, 4.40 ERA, and then honestly after that, I don't know how Clark Schmidt's going to look in a postseason against the Dodgers. He's been decent so far in this postseason, and Luis Heel, he's had 1 start, 4 innings pitched. He's given up 2 earned runs. So they're going to have to rely on their bullpen a lot too. I think, honestly, they're going to have to bring them out there, and their bullpen's been okay. It's been better than the Dodgers, but the guys that are really going to have to stand out and pitch really well are Luke Weaver. Conley's been awesome. Those are 2 guys they're going to have to really rely on, because the deeper parts of their bullpen have been kind of shaky. Like, you've got Jake Cousins, leader Ian Hamilton. I mean, we know all about Tim Mays. You can't rely on that guy in a bright spot. So they're going to have to really get those innings, and they're going to have to attack that starting pitcher.
Yeah, I do believe that, like, if this team is going to win, if the Yankees are going to do this, like, you're going to need Garrett Cole to be Garrett Cole. Like, that's one of your guys, right? Like, that's one of your, when you think about the advantages that you have, at the end of the day, like, they over on the LA Dodgers don't have somebody like a Garrett Cole. So you need your guy, which is Garrett Cole, to come out here and to give you 6 scoreless and to lock it down, because you're going to have to go, depending on the length of the series, minimum twice, probably 3 times if it really is you're getting into game 6, game 7 type thing. So that's going to be one of your X factors. Can he be that guy that he can be in the regular season? Can he do it at the biggest moment? It's going to be a really tight series, man, and that is why, shout out to Betway, folks. The betting odds are so close. I had it up. Where did I have it?
Yeah, they are very, very close, guys.
Here they go. Yeah. So right now, Dodgers favorited a little bit. New York Yankees, the slight underdog. If you were to bet on them to win the entire thing, you would just a little bit more than 2x your money. So honestly, not that much. Like, the Dodgers are the favorites here, but it is so tight.
What's the Betway lines there?
So it's 1.76 for the Dodgers and then 2.1 for the Yankees. So
if you guys don't know, it's a multiplier. Betway does a different system. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's tight. It's tight. Pretty tight. Like, again, Yankees slight underdogs, Dodgers slight favorites. But we are talking the difference of not a whole lot here. Like, it is really, really close. Everything being considered, where are you at right now? And walk me through your thinking for this series.
Yeah, I mean, kind of piggybacking off what we were just talking about, can you get to the pitchers early? And, who are the guys that are going to be getting to the pitchers early? And, thinking about the Dodgers, bullpen days and how successful it's been, and they've been proving everybody wrong, aka us. For me, I am leaning Dodgers in this one. I've been kind of feeling like this is the season that they're going to do it. First year with Ohtani, he's going to show up, and he's already been showing up. I do think this Dodger bullpen day strat is working, and it's the way to go. And when I look over, it's more to do with the Yankees side of things. Like, they have guys who are doing good, But then it's a steep drop-off, and they really need a lot of their guys to stay good, like Stanton. Is Stanton going to stay good? Is Torres going to stay good? Torres has been having a pretty consistent postseason, but they need Jazz Chisholm to show up. They're going to need Aaron Judge to show up. Verdugo, where are you? Anthony Rizzo, where are you? Like, they're going to need guys to show up in this postseason, and it's going to be tough when you're facing a new pitcher every other at-bat that you're playing in this postseason. So, for me, I am leaning Dodgers. It feels like they've got the momentum, and I'm thinking the Dodgers are going to take it in 6 games.
6 games.
6 games.
I'll tell you right now, folks. I'm a 7 gamer in this regard. I don't even know who I'm picking, but I think this is a 7 gamer. I think that when you're talking about 2 Titans like this, we were joking around at the beginning of this whole thing, like it's scripted, because it feels that way. I think it's going to feel even more scripted when you do see it go to Game 7, and it is like, oh shit, like it's Ohtani and it's Judge and it's Game 7, and I just think a series like this, when you're talking about these 2 juggernauts that are so even, with one another, because we're talking about a little bit, a little bit of difference here between the bullpen or between the hitters. I really do believe that this is going to be a tight one. I think if I had to bet my life on it, I would also inevitably lean with the LA Dodgers in 7 games. But man, like something about that Soto at bat just, makes me feel a bit of a different way. Maybe it's because I haven't watched an Ohtani at bat in a couple days. But like, damn, dude, he just looks so goddamn locked in. And they handled the Cleveland Guardians. Like there was no pushback at all. And I know we've been sleeping on the Guardians, but they were a very, very good team.
They were.
And you ran over them. You just ran over them. I'm so split, everybody. I'll go Dodgers in 7, but I mean, I could flip-flop back and forth on this, in a couple hours.